We just a little over time right now, but I'm very excited to introduce to you our next guest. It is Alex Carrabre from Presearch, which is doing some really cool stuff in the revolutionary area of searching on the internet. So, Alex, take it away.
Thanks, Cindy. Everyone always messes it up. It's Carrabre, but it's a hard last name, so no worries. So hey, everybody, my name's Alex. I work at a company called Presearch. If you've never heard of it before, Presearch is building a decentralized search engine, basically a decentralized, trustless way to access Web2 information. So I lead growth for the project. I joined back in January 2020, back when Ethereum was, not at their all-time highs. We were just thawing from the brutal crypto winter, and people were wondering, is this for real? And so, back then, Presearch was a small startup. We had, maybe 200,000 monthly active, or 200,000 monthly searches, and under 50,000 monthly active users. So that's a little bit of background of the project right when I joined. And one of the first things I did when I joined the project was just get a lay of the land for where the project was at, where was our distribution, and really we didn't have any. That was the biggest missing piece. And so for a search engine, if you don't have any distribution, so distribution would be like, within a browser or having your own browser, it's hard to get users. Even if you have awareness, people know about you, but it's a big deviation from their normal daily habits. It's gonna be pretty hard to get users to switch over to your product. And so that's things I focused on in the first, couple months that was in the project. So we launched our own browser, which we've worked from a different project in the space. And we worked on getting deals done with different Web2 companies to grow the distribution, so that when people found out about us, it was super easy for them to migrate over and use our service and product. And one of the key things I realized is that actually distribution and awareness go hand in hand in growing each other. So if you have distribution and no awareness, it's a better spot than having awareness and no distribution, because these people can easily access it. But they grow hand in hand on our they feed off each other and actually create like a flywheel effect, which is something that we got into within the last year. Just things that we did to help improve our distribution was get as many browsers as we could. Most of them said no. Some of them in the space. We knew at a minimum we had to get our own browsers out. One of the first things we tackled was our mobile distribution. So currently we have ways for people to access and use Presearch as a default search engine just by adding an extension. But on a mobile, it was much more complicated. You had to essentially create a bookmark and from a Safari page, and that was basically the browser. We built our own browser, and that was kind of the first step in retaining people who found out about us. Then we looked to Web2 partners for distribution, and we caught a really big break with an Android choice screen. So basically, every new and factory reset phone in Europe has Presearch as a default option, and that was probably the biggest growth driver for us. So those are kind of things we were focused on for distribution. Some of the things we were working on for awareness was an extreme focus on Twitter. And people in Web2 companies might think this is ridiculous, but sharing memes actually one of the greatest ways to grow your Twitter audience and to grow your community. It's just like a fun way to share the message of something that your product or service is doing. And so that was a huge growth driver for us, as well as connecting with people who have voice in our community. So we focused really heavily on looking at people who were following us on Twitter, people who were in our Discord community who had a voice on some other platform. And for us, that was YouTube. So we sifted through our Twitter pages and looked for people who had large YouTube audiences, were super passionate about the project already, and would have loved to do an interview with someone from our team. And this ended up being a huge growth driver for us as well. We had a couple dozen YouTubers get over 500,000 views in the last 8 months, all completely organic, all of them who loved our project previously, and it was completely free for us. It was pretty unheard of in the crypto space. And the same thing, with our Twitter sharing. memes and engaging with our community grew it from 15K to 40K. Also all organic, nothing paid. So that was like background about Presearch and kind of how we grew from 0 to uh, over 1 million monthly active users. And what are some of the things that you can take away and put into your product? At a bare minimum, things to keep in mind is that you should probably have a kick-ass product. Like if your product is not better than everything else that's out there, it's gonna be very hard. Once you get distribution and awareness, to have them stick around and use your product to replace the thing that you're trying to get them to replace. Another thing, if you have a token, make sure that the token has great utility. Tokens, are great in some sense, but a lot of them, uh, basically, if you have a token, use it for good and use it as a way to bootstrap, your initial users or a marketplace or your game or something like that. Use it as a make sure that it's actually usable within the ecosystem. So, so you're just starting out your product, your game, your wallet, your one blockchain, and you have no users. How do you grow to 1 million monthly active users? One, like I mentioned before, have a great product that's better than anything else that's out there, and have a maniacal focus on your distribution and awareness. And one of the key things I focus on when thinking about distribution is someone hears about your product, how hard is it for them to switch, from their current habit and the current product they use to your product? I.e., in the case of Presearch, I also mentioned this before, you have to save Presearch as a bookmark on your home screen. Also, not very convenient versus having your own browser where it saves all your information, saves all your passwords, all that kind of stuff, all the great things that come with having a browser. So really focus on the friction points that you can remove between your customer hearing about your product and using it to replace the thing that they're currently using. So if it's a game, focus on a usable, great experience on desktop or mobile. If it's a wallet, make sure it's no harder than the current wallets and it's actually easier, protects the customer more, things like that. Awareness, this is, best put once you have the distribution in place. So best to tackle once you have the distribution, and it's best to do it if you can do it for free. And of course, you can't do your entire, awareness campaigns for free. But in the early days, the best is to do it for free because those are the people who really actually care about your product and care about it being successful over the long term. And this is one of the things that we actually did very well, was looking to our community and the people who had voices in the community to share to their communities the message of Presearch. In your case, whatever company, game, wallet, with their audiences. One of the things that we recommend doing is to have a dedicated channel in your Discord or if you have a Telegram group. You have a dedicated channel where these people can come and meet you or have proposals, and things like that. And if you don't have anything, like let's say you have no Twitter, no community, anything at all, start tweeting consistently on Twitter. If you have an interesting product or interesting idea, start tweeting and people will come. Have a Discord server. The more time you spend on cultivating that, and the longer you do it consistently, the right people will come into the ecosystem. And with that, there will also be serendipity that will come. Once you have the distribution and you get a spike in awareness, there will be, in time, if you focus on them religiously, it will create a flywheel effect, and things will eventually start coming into you. So opportunities for partnerships, opportunities for speaking at conferences, opportunities for growing your awareness and distribution even faster than what you are doing currently, and take advantage of those. You have to be in a position to take advantage of those, and rinse and repeat. It sounds super basic, but the best meal for bodybuilders when they're cutting down to have their show is just chicken, rice, and broccoli 3 times a day, every day. Simplicity and focus works. And I encourage you to not make things too complicated and to just focus on the community, focus on finding people in the community who have a voice and allowing them to share it. So, I feel like I'm a sailor wishing my fellow sailors good luck as they head out to sea. You guys are all building the future of crypto. And, it's not going to be easy. It's super hard. But I wish you all nothing but the best as you venture out into the unknown and building the future of crypto. So if there's anything I can do to help, you guys can reach out to me on Twitter, just my handle at Alex Carrabre, or you can shoot me an email, alex@presearch.io. But thank you all so much, and I hope some of the strategies you can implement into your own crypto startups today.
Thanks, Alex. I'm very
Thanks so much.
excited to see where Presearch goes.
For sure. Thanks so much.